Hi everyone, welcome to Flow Session 24. And it's a flow on from more wholeness teachings, as I'm Teresa McGrath, if you don't know, wholeness teacher, energy awareness educator. One title explains the other. So when you think of wholeness teacher, it's a whole energy awareness understanding, where I realize more and more I'm bringing the truth awareness that I have as a soul of our divine connection for this time at the forefront for us to open up more in that network on the planet, raising the vibration to the truth of our multi-dimensional self, which I like to describe as heavenly dimensional self. Because we can connect to the heavenly bodies on the other side via our own acceptance, understanding, and awareness that we are one and the same on different planes and energetic paradigms, but never not connected is the point. So our wholeness to that connection, which essentially at the core of it, to do with today's session, is our choice of how we use it, which is what I was talking about in the last session. How do we use our gift of being here now as part of the universe embodied? So that all sounds serious perhaps, but why not drop you into the truth of that? So today's flow session 24 is a wholeness understanding perspective, spiritual maturity, awareness itself. Because in our spiritual maturity understanding, we are learning of our wholeness, which is full awareness of ourselves. So we are consciousness. We are a design of consciousness. And so consciousness is present and at the same time in motion, so available for what we choose to do with it. And so before consciousness, you could say awareness itself. I've got a heart there and a heart there because they correlate. Before consciousness, so before applying action through our consciousness, it's awareness itself is, some could call it nothingness, the creation substance, in what feels like a space of nothingness, but when we sit there and connect with it, it's all powerful and we can feel one with that. So that space of what is, to allow creation through you, so you are one with it. Some call it, and I think appropriately so, the void, of which we are unlimited nature, expand ourselves, therefore we're expanding the universe. So it's an unlimited nature we have resource to. And that's applied through choice. We use that awareness itself as consciousness in motion here And the more present we get with our consciousness before we get into how we choose to create with it, is what I wanted to slow down into a observation understanding of what we do before we take action. Because going through the usual lifespan from through the age groups, it's obvious the older we get, we take more time with forethought before the choice becomes like a decision action. So I just wanted to slow it down into that, because we could be educating ourselves a lot younger on the power of this, which is central to us, instead of life has been an ignorance of it, a dance around what we call God, or our reliance on the heavens, and like what role we give the heavens. But really it's always, and we're learning now through the choices, the crazy choices we've made on the planet to get to the stage of evolution, that it is always a connected co-creation, global oneness, making choices as part of the whole. So just bringing that power down into the awareness that we come from an unlimited reality source, and we're applying it through our choice. So what I really want to focus on is what we're doing with our minds before we follow through on using that energy. So we're in constant thought, but do we correlate it with the feeling? And do we slow down with the feeling before we allow the thought to progress, follow through? Because the feeling has more to say to us from our thoughts. So a lot of the time we are linear and just from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And so we don't really give a pause on any kind of regular basis as to the true power of that creation. So we're making our choices, and we're making them fast. We just operate on thoughts or usual thoughts or patterns we've had. But I just want us to take the time to stop and observe a little more as to what do we make our choices from? What percentage is it? Are we looking wider or feeling wider a message before we just decide to act linear or direct or indirect? When I say direct, it means I've given the whole my attention, which does take some spiritual practice. I'm going to take steps in life to observe a little bit more rather than just react. Because essentially what comes from the choice done so fast and a linear, just got to keep going, don't think of anything different or change, is we're just bringing back the same cycle of energy, But yet, in those moments of thought, we've had various thoughts, but we'll just follow through on the same thought. The same comfortable or familiar or judgmental basis, or instead of a wholer perspective of creation, like what you can actually do when you expand your observation to be, I feel more, I'm going to trust and listen to this a bit more, because it's not all a 3D coming at me. It is a 5D embodiment to spread this in the world. Like, my embodiment is important. I need to get a bigger feeling space instead of quick kind of nudge into place. Like, we'll just get things done quickly and it's done and it's familiar, and that's how we kind of make our choices. Do we observe whole at 1%? And what is whole is a question you can ask yourself. And by slowing it down to the use of how you use your thoughts to create what choices, and is there something more that's been niggling at you to allow space for? So that your choices can be new, different, risen, allowing interaction of the more of you, or usual, can't do it right now, just continue, just got to get the day done, just gotta, because this is all vibrations. So you're going to cycle around through your actions. Take some time from what observation you're making your actions, because you're adding to what is in your world, and you can add more to your world. Amazingly so, from your inner world dimension connection. Because this is what you're going to bring back to you. Okay, so don't forget it. You're going to keep these cycles happening. And this is also what's going to continue to ripple out. So if you want change and something's calling you or something's niggling you, you're going to have to make space for that inner world dimension in presence, trusting you are a heavenly body for expression. So all our inner values and connections, desires and dreams that we want, need to come out from this space. And if we just carry on and the forethought continues to be, just get it done, just continue on, then you're not listening to something else that's happening around here, around your throat and your heart. And so if you don't give it attention here, then you're not going to experience more at your third eye, like actually seeing and feeling and following through. And then next you have the crown chakra, which is part of your dimensional connection. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. So you are more than just human, carrying on, making usual choices. So that's a wholeness, understanding, perspective of gaining spiritual maturity via accessing the whole. So just take time with that is all I hope for, as I have done and continue to do. Otherwise I wouldn't talk about it as so important in the now moment. which is every now moment for you. Like this is happening now. Like this is coming to the forefront. I think that's all I wanted to say, but I did underline these. Yeah, so just remember that we are putting consciousness into motion. Although it might seem A to B linear and it's gone, remember your energy. Yeah. So I think out of all of that, I would say connect to feelings that sort of jog something in you when you're about to act on a thought or have just about decided you're going to take action from thoughts. I would just say to yourself, is there anything else? Is there anything I'm ignoring in myself? That's all. And that can happen like that. If you did it on a regular basis, you just remind yourself, is there anything else I'm not seeing here? Because we have all too often ignored that inner niggle around the heart throat, and we've just numbed it down, quieted it down. But this is our heart and soul. So now this is coming to the forefront, and shadows have to, well, are and have to, will be less and less important to concentrate on, and more awareness in the moment, and that's pretty much it. Aware of it, it doesn't have to play out. Because I'm an unlimited being, what else? I have constant power and choice at my hands. So less shadow emotional baggage, which is what's helping and happening in the universal intelligence upshift. Everywhere. And especially from here. What's the time? Okay. The one last thing I think I want to mention is I had a feeling come to me that said, my feelings are also visions and information, sort of download correlations. Is that if we're looking at this for ourselves, let's take a wider look, which is what I'm asking us to do, of like how we use our energy. Take a look at, on the wider stage of life at present, as to how, what forethought, like, so you have a thought, I could do this. You have more thoughts, as law of attraction would bring to you, like, what is that feeling that we follow through on? Is it an intent that's of lower vibration, or is it an intent for more good in the world? Okay, because am I going to disempower from following through on these thoughts? Or am I assisting with an empowered follow through, not only for myself, but I think these thoughts are going to follow through for good for all. And so we have it standing out like that the old has followed through on anything that doesn't serve the planet. Like, forget colors of our skin. They'll just, meaning I was looking at the layers. So you can be judgmental to that group or that group, but even forget about that for a moment, you're just hurting people. So we need not follow through on thought and then like, what do I mean by forethought in this instance? I mean like what we follow through on. Yeah. What we take action on, what we choose from, okay, I'm now going to make a decision from these thoughts I've had. This is the thought we're going to follow through on. Make sure you do an observation of whether that is serving the whole, not only of this is going to be good for me. Hang on a second. Is it going to be good rippling out and back to me? I don't think so. If one is in alignment, honest. So I just wanted to show how that is key to how we use awareness itself. Like, do I just throw out any old action with my presence here on the earth and I really don't care what it does because I'm gonna look good in the end? Or do we have a wholeness perspective of everywhere is sacred ground? Every person, every leaf, every tree, every hug, every person that's upset, we are all finding our way. And we're all part of the sacred. So, if we just come from a whole heart perspective and not ignorance, my heart's going to face this way and it's ignoring you. That kind of thing. That doesn't serve anyone, and we don't want that rippling out and continuing. So, that's your wholeness teaching for today. And I'm sure many of you relate. It's good to share and have a chat about it. And I hope it instigates anything in you to follow through. God bless everyone. Have a great day. See you next time. Oh, and please leave any comments if you like that relate to finding a higher solution for self or sharing something that you feel you're on the same sort of creation wave and would like to communicate. Cool. Bye for now.